Hey guys, how's it going? Chords of Thought here with Thunder Gaming League. This week I'll be teaching you guys about Diana, Scorn of the Moon. Starting off with simple things, for runes you'll see I run mana regen per level, plus 15 magic pen, and plus 12 magic resist. This will give you the sustain and survivability you need in mid lane while giving you a decent damage burst throughout the game. You could also run ability power quins, but it's about personal preference. I will not suggest running attack speed runes for Diana. Trying to go magic damage and attack speed on this character will make you lose burst damage you initially should have had, whilst only be able to proc her passive every third hit. You'll be using her abilities more than auto-attacking in the teamfight, but we'll get into that later. Heading on over to Masteries, I run 20, 3, and 7. Taking 3 points in resistance will give you an extra defense in your lane, while taking the 7 points in utility will help with the mana problem Diana has early game. The rest of the Masters are pretty cookie cutter for AP, but you can change them to more fit your playstyle. Now to talk about Diana as a character. Diana is a mage/fighter that can become fairly tanky late game, while still being able to pull off huge damage to single targets. One of the biggest cons about Diana though is that she has no escape abilities, unless given an enemy minion or champion out of the fight that she can ult to. Even then she would have to have her ultimate's cooldown refreshed from the initial Crescent Strike. Now going over Diana's abilities, starting off with her passive, Moonsilver Blade. Diana gains a permanent 20% bonus to her attack speed. Additionally, every third strike cleaves nearby enemies for 20, all the way up to 290 magic damage with 0.6 scaling. Now again, I wouldn't recommend focusing on this passive, it's more of a way for Diana to deal additional damage when her other abilities are on cooldown. For Diana's first ability, Crescent Strike, Diana unleashes a skill shot nuke that arcs from her right, dealing 80, 125, 170, 215, and 260 magic damage with 0.8 scaling. Additionally, enemies struck by Crescent Strike are affected by Moonlight for 3 seconds, revealing them for the duration of Moonlight. With such a low base cooldown at level 5, Crescent Strike will be your main damage source before your ultimate. Getting used to the skill shot arc and the speed of the missile will take time, but is well worth it in the end. Moving on over to Diana's second ability, Pale Cascade. Pale Cascade creates 3 orbiting spheres that last 4 seconds that explode on contact with enemies, dealing 20, 36, 52, 68, and 84 magic damage, plus 0.2 scaling. Additionally, Pale Cascade generates a shield that absorbs 55, 80, 105, 130, 155 damage with 0.45 magic scaling. The shield is refreshed if all spheres detonate. Pale Cascade will give Diana an extra boost of survivability in lane and especially in teamfights. Additionally, Pale Cascade will allow you to push lanes quite easily, allowing you to really look for ganks. For Diana's third ability, Moonfall. Moonfall draws in all nearby enemies and then slows them by 35, 40, 45, 50, and 55% for 2 seconds. Comboing Moonfall on an escaping enemy with Pale Cascade and Lunar Rush will usually guarantee the detonation of all spheres for maximum damage. Lastly, Diana's ultimate, Lunar Rush. Diana teleports to a target enemy dealing 100, 160, 220 magic damage with 0.6 magic scaling. Lunar Rush's cooldown is refreshed if used to teleport to a target afflicted with Moonlight. Lunar Rush will be able to burst down a single target very easily, but always consider if casting it a second time or waiting for Crescent Strike to be off cooldown to cast Moonlight again. Always remember though, casting Lunar Rush twice will leave you very vulnerable to ganks or focus in teamfights. Now for the recommended build and laning phase. For the recommended build, I'd suggest Sorcerer's Shoes, Rod of Ages, and Rylai's as your core items, then build to the enemy team. The core build will grant you huge survivability in teamfights while giving you decent burst damage. I'll give you a list of other items that will synergize well with the core build at the end of the video. For laning phase, start boots and 3 health potions. You might ask me why, especially with Diana's mana dependency early game. With the runes and masteries I mentioned earlier in the video, you should have enough mana to rest periodically without losing too much mana. Now, this doesn't mean be more aggressive in lane. Until you hit level 6, you should only be harassing with Crescent Strike. For the first time you teleport back, grab a Dorn's Ring and more health potions. If needed, a ward as well. If you find that you don't need these, start building a Catalyst. For the third time you back, if you bought a Dorn's Ring, buy a Catalyst. Or if you already have a Catalyst, buy a Blasting Wand and finish Rod of Ages. From there, finish your core build and ask for blue buff as much as possible. Now for making lane presence with Diana, is one of the simplest things to do. Hit Crescent Strike as much as possible, especially at level 6. This will make your opponent afraid of you and be too wary to get too close. Use this to your advantage in farm, and at level 6, ward and push your lane if you see an opportunity to gank another lane. Remember not to be overly aggressive. Learn what you can and cannot do with Diana, and harassing will be much easier. Now for some quick tips and a review. In between your abilities, try to auto attack so you can get some extra damage from Moonsilver Blade. Learn when to cast Lunar Rush without a Moonlight proc on your target so you don't expose yourself to ganks or extra damage. Learning how Crescent Strike works will be beneficial to making lane presence and dealing the most damage possible in teamfights. Separated in a T-fight, see if you can't Crescent Strike neutral monsters, and then Lunar Rush to them to get across walls or long distances. And then the recommended item list is Lichbane, Athene's Unholy Grail, Abyssal Scepter, Zonian's Hourglass, Rabadon's Deathcap, and Void Staff. I want to thank you guys for watching, for your continuous feedback. Again, I hope this will help you play a better Diana. And if you have feedback, post a comment down below. Also, like, favorite, and share this video, for it does help the channel grow. Look in the description for a physical reference for skills, runes, masteries, and more. And if you want to check out Thunder Gaming League, the link will be in the description below. I come out with videos every weekend, so subscribe if you want to see more tutorials. And again, this is Chords of Thought, and I'll see you guys next week with another tutorial.